Let's walk on the wise path.
Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever looked at the world and thought, there's got to be more than this? More than the routines, the systems, the rules we're taught to follow. If you've ever felt like there's a deeper layer to reality, you're not alone. Ancient civilizations believed the same thing, but here's the twist: they knew it. Think about the Egyptians, for example. They didn't just stack up some stones to build pyramids. Those structures were precisely aligned with the stars, the Earth's magnetic fields, and even the sun's cycles. Why? Because they understood that the universe is interconnected, a vast network of energy and intention. They believed that by aligning with these forces, they could unlock higher states of awareness and connect with the divine. And it wasn't just the Egyptians. Cultures all over the world, whether it was the Mayans in Central America, the Vedic sages in India, or the Aboriginal peoples of Australia, tapped into this ancient wisdom. They saw life not as a series of random events, but as a sacred dance where everything was connected. But something happened. Over time, much of this knowledge was buried, sometimes literally. The world shifted toward a more materialistic view where only what we could see or measure was considered real. And as a result, the invisible forces that once guided humanity were forgotten, or worse, dismissed as superstition. Now, we're at a unique moment in history. People are beginning to rediscover these truths, to realize that ancient knowledge holds keys to questions modern science is only starting to ask. What if the wisdom of the past isn't outdated? What if it's the missing piece? The cosmic blueprint. Picture this. You're staring at the night sky, marveling at the endless expanse of stars. It feels random, doesn't it? Just a chaotic scattering of light across the void. But what if I told you that it's not random at all? What if there's a hidden pattern, a blueprint that connects every star, every planet, every living thing, including you? This isn't just poetic thinking, it's sacred geometry. The ancients believed the universe operated on specific patterns and proportions, from the spiral of a galaxy to the swirl of a seashell. These shapes weren't just aesthetically pleasing, they represented the underlying structure of reality itself. Take the Fibonacci sequence, for example, a mathematical pattern that shows up everywhere in nature, from the way leaves grow on a stem to the spirals of hurricanes. The ancient Greeks called it the golden ratio, and they used it in their art, architecture, and even philosophy. They believed this ratio reflected the divine order of the universe, the harmony that holds everything together. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. These patterns don't just exist out there. They exist within you. Your DNA, your heartbeat, even your brainwaves follow similar rhythms and proportions. The ancients saw the human body as a microcosm of the universe, a reflection of the same cosmic blueprint. Science meets mysticism. Let's shift gears for a moment. When you hear the word science, what comes to mind? For most of us, it's labs, experiments, and cold, hard facts. Now contrast that with mysticism visions, rituals, and things that can't be measured. These two worlds seem like opposites, don't they? But what if they're not? What if they're two sides of the same coin? Here's a fun fact. The cutting edge of science is starting to sound a lot like ancient mysticism. Take quantum physics, for example. It tells us that the universe isn't as solid as it seems. At the smallest levels, everything is energy vibrating, shifting, and interconnected. If that sounds familiar, it's because mystics have been saying the same thing for centuries. Let's talk about the observer effect. In quantum experiments, particles behave differently depending on whether they're being observed. Think about that for a second. Your awareness, your intention, changes reality. Doesn't that sound like the ancient idea that our thoughts shape the world around us? And it's not just physics. Neuroscience is exploring how meditation and visualization literally rewire the brain. Ancient practices like yoga, chanting, and breathwork, once dismissed as woo-woo, are now being studied for their effects on mental health and well-being. The point is, science isn't replacing mysticism, it's catching up to it. The ancients may not have had microscopes or particle accelerators, but they understood something profound. The mind is not just a passive observer, it's an active participant in creating reality. So here's the big question. If modern science is proving what the mystics already knew, what else might we rediscover? Shamans and the secrets of consciousness. Imagine this, a flickering fire under a starlit sky. A lone figure dances rhythmically, the beat of a drum echoing into the night. This isn't just a ritual, it's a journey, a doorway to another realm. Welcome to the world of shamanism, the original exploration of consciousness. Shamans were the world's first scientists of the unseen. Long before telescopes or brain scans, they mapped the layers of reality through direct experience. They believed that the physical world we see is just the tip of the iceberg, a thin shell over a much deeper, more interconnected reality. But how did they access this hidden world? Through altered states of consciousness. By using repetitive movements, rhythmic drumming, or sacred plants, they quieted their minds and unlocked the ability to perceive beyond the physical. It's like tuning a radio. Most of us are stuck on one frequency, but shamans learned to dial into the whole spectrum. And here's the thing, it wasn't just for their benefit. Shamans used these insights to heal, guide, and protect their communities. They understood that when the mind aligns with the universe, transformation becomes possible. You might be thinking, that sounds like ancient history. But here's the truth. These techniques aren't relics of the past. They're tools we can use today. Modern neuroscience even shows that practices like rhythmic drumming and meditation can synchronize brain waves, creating states of flow and heightened awareness. So ask yourself, if the shamans could access these realms with their tools, what might we achieve with ours? The lost feminine wisdom. Imagine a flowing river, nourishing everything it touches, bringing life to even the driest lands. This is what ancient traditions envisioned when they spoke of the divine feminine, a force of intuition, creation, and balance. But somewhere along the way, this sacred energy was not just forgotten, it was deliberately suppressed. Let's go back to the beginning. Ancient cultures like the Egyptians, the Sumerians, and even early Indian traditions revered both masculine and feminine energies. They saw them as two sides of the same coin, working together to create harmony. The feminine wasn't just about women, it symbolized qualities like nurturing, creativity, and spiritual wisdom. Now take a closer look at the serpent in ancient myths. In cultures across the world, the serpent represented Kundalini energy, a dormant force within us that, when awakened, leads to enlightenment. But as patriarchal systems gained power, these symbols were twisted. The serpent became a sign of evil. The divine feminine was erased, and spirituality turned into rigid dogma. Think about the story of Adam and Eve. Originally, the tree and the serpent symbolized knowledge and transformation. But over time, the narrative changed. What was once a story of empowerment became a tale of sin and punishment. Why? To control the masses by keeping them disconnected from their inner power. Temples as portals. Let's take a journey back in time. Imagine stepping into an ancient temple, its towering columns reaching for the heavens. The air feels alive, humming with an energy you can't quite explain. This wasn't just a place for prayer, it was a portal to the cosmos. Ancient civilizations understood something we're only beginning to rediscover. Temples were more than physical structures. They were instruments of transformation, designed to align with the stars, the Earth's energy, and the human body. Take the pyramids of Egypt, for instance. These weren't just tombs, they were energy amplifiers. Their precise alignment with celestial bodies wasn't accidental. It was intentional, meant to channel universal forces. Or think about Stonehenge. For centuries, people believed it was just a mysterious arrangement of rocks. But modern research suggests it was an astronomical calendar and a site for spiritual ceremonies. These structures weren't random. They were carefully designed to tap into the Earth's natural frequencies. Here's where it gets fascinating. When you enter these sacred spaces, something shifts. Ancient builders knew that human beings are electromagnetic fields interacting with their environment. By creating spaces that amplified these interactions, they allowed people to experience heightened states of awareness. It's like flipping a switch in your mind, connecting you to something much greater than yourself. Modern science is catching up to these ancient insights. Studies show that many sacred sites are located on Earth's energy grids, places where electromagnetic activity is naturally stronger. When you combine this with sacred geometry, patterns like spirals and circles, it creates a resonance that affects the human body and mind. The suppression of knowledge. Now, let's dive into the darker side of history, the deliberate suppression of ancient knowledge. Have you ever wondered why so much of this wisdom was lost? Why stories, symbols, and traditions that once connected us to the universe were erased or distorted? It wasn't an accident. Imagine a time when humanity was deeply connected to the cosmos. People understood the rhythms of the earth, the power of the mind, and the balance of energies. But as empires rose, so did the desire for control. Knowledge became a tool for power, and those in charge realized that by keeping people ignorant, they could maintain dominance. Take the burning of the Library of Alexandria, for example. It wasn't just a tragic loss of books, it was the destruction of humanity's collective wisdom. Or consider how spiritual practices were labeled as heretical during the Middle Ages. People who explored consciousness, healing, or alternative ways of thinking were persecuted. Even stories we grew up with, like the myth of Adam and Eve, were rewritten to instill fear and obedience. The original narrative, a tale of enlightenment and transformation, was turned into a warning against seeking knowledge. Why? Because an empowered, awakened population is harder to control. The Renaissance of ancient wisdom. Fast forward to today. We're living in a time of rediscovery, a renaissance of ancient wisdom. Practices that were once dismissed as superstition are now being studied, practiced, and celebrated. But why now? What's changed? For centuries, the world was dominated by materialism. If it couldn't be measured, weighed, or touched, it wasn't considered real. But as science advances, we're finding cracks in this perspective. Quantum physics, neuroscience, and even psychology are beginning to confirm what the ancients always knew. Reality is far more complex than we imagined. Take meditation, for example. It's no longer just a spiritual practice. It's a scientifically validated tool for mental clarity, emotional balance, and even physical health. Studies show that meditation rewires the brain, reduces stress, and enhances creativity. And yet, this is something ancient cultures practiced thousands of years ago. Yoga, once seen as a simple exercise routine, is now recognized as a holistic system for mind-body integration. Energy healing, like Reiki or acupuncture, is gaining credibility in the medical field. These practices aren't new age. They're ancient traditions making a comeback. So, why now? Maybe it's because people are searching for meaning in a world that often feels chaotic and disconnected. Maybe it's because we've reached the limits of materialism and need something more. Or maybe, just maybe, it's because the universe is calling us to wake up. This renaissance isn't just about spirituality. It's about reclaiming our connection to the cosmos, to each other, and to ourselves. The question is, are you ready to be part of it? Because the answers you're looking for might just be found in the wisdom of the past. The secrets within you. Let's flip the script for a moment. What if I told you that all the ancient wisdom we've been talking about, the sacred geometry, the cosmic energy, the connection to the universe isn't something out there? It's already inside you. Sound unbelievable? Stay with me. Think about it. Your body is a masterpiece of design. Your heartbeat follows a rhythm. Your DNA spirals like a galaxy. Even your thoughts vibrate at specific frequencies. The ancients called this the microcosm within the macrocosm, the idea that the universe is mirrored within each of us. What if this means you're not just a small part of the universe, but a reflection of its entirety? Here's where it gets even more interesting. Your mind isn't just a receiver of information. It's a co-creator of reality. Think of it like a projector. Whatever you focus on, you project onto the world. This isn't just mystical mumbo-jumbo. Science is starting to back it up. Studies on neuroplasticity show that your thoughts can literally rewire your brain. Positive visualization? It's not just wishful thinking. It's a tool to shape your reality. But there's a catch. Most of us spend our lives on autopilot, reacting to the world around us instead of consciously shaping it. Imagine driving a car but never touching the steering wheel. You'd end up wherever the road takes you, right? But when you take control, when you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you can simple. Go with it. They're ancient practices designed to help you unlock your inner potential. You don't need a temple or a guru. You already have the key. It's time to turn it. How do we access this knowledge? Here's the big question. How do you start accessing this ancient knowledge? Is it hidden in some sacred text? Locked away in a forgotten temple? Surprisingly, the answer is much simpler. It starts with you and your willingness to explore. Let's break it down. The first step is meditation. I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times. But here's the thing. Meditation isn't just sitting still and breathing. It's a doorway. Think of it as tuning into a cosmic frequency, like adjusting a radio dial until the static clears. When you meditate, you quiet the noise of everyday life and create space for clarity, insight, and connection. Another powerful tool is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine the life you want, not as a distant dream, but as if it's already happening. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's about aligning your energy with your desires. Ancient cultures believed in the power of intention, and modern science is catching up. Studies show that focused visualization can improve performance, boost confidence, and even speed up healing. Spending time in nature is another way to connect. Think of the earth as a giant energy field, constantly in motion. When you walk barefoot on the ground, listen to the wind, or watch a sunset, you're syncing your energy with the planet's natural rhythms. It's no coincidence that ancient rituals often took place outdoors, under the stars. A call to action. Let's pause for a moment. Everything we've talked about ancient wisdom, the power of the mind, the secrets of the universe, it all leads to this. What are you going to do with it? This isn't just a history lesson or an abstract theory. It's an invitation. An invitation to take control of your life and tap into your limitless potential. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you feel stuck, like life is happening to you instead of for you. Maybe you're searching for something: peace, purpose, connection, but you don't know where to start. The good news? You already have everything you need. The answers aren't in some distant place. They're within you. But here's the catch. You have to act. Ancient knowledge is like a treasure map. It points the way, but you're the one who has to take the journey. Meditation, visualization, journaling, connecting with nature, these aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical tools designed to help you unlock your full potential. And here's the best part. The more you explore, the more you'll discover. It's like peeling back layers of an onion. The deeper you go, the more you'll realize how vast and interconnected everything is. You'll see that you're not separate from the universe, you are the universe. So what's your next step? Will you keep living on autopilot, or will you take the wheel? The choice is yours. And trust me, the journey is worth it. The question is, are you ready to begin?